Ruben, you said before this game it was going to be a battle, it was going to be a fight, you had to be at your very best. So how do you reflect on that in the sense that you came back and you got a point from it?
In the end, I think that is a good thing in the game, that if we compare in the recent past, we are a little bit different in that moment, because we had 5 minutes we disconnect, we suffer 2 goals, but we managed to control our emotions, to continue to play. Not all the time so well, but we managed to secure a point. But I think we drop a little bit the energy level, and you can feel it. And when our team is not in the top of the energy, of the aggression, you can feel it in our team. But in the end, again, we managed to score again. We try to win the game. We have a big opportunity in the end. We missed that little bit luck in the end. Let's work to win the next week.
When you talk about that energy, what do you mean by that? How do you make that energy to the best level it can be?
We need to work that with time, to have the same energy in our stadium away. We are getting better. That is, I think, everyone can see. We are getting better. We are getting that feeling. If we cannot win, at least we are not going to lose, and you can sense that in the team. But the way we press, the urgency in certain things, I think we play better. For example, in the last Sunday, we need to be that in every game in order to win every game.
So close to 3 points here, first Premier League game in charge. How do you reflect on that? Because plenty of talking points, should we say?
Yeah, very thorough performance, I thought, from ourselves. First half with the ball, opened chances up when we could. A goal I'm sure you'll ask me about. And then second half, obviously, so nervy to get that next win, and we just went a little bit on the back foot, but not from a lack of effort or anything, but it's a psychology where you're just searching for that win, but still looked really dangerous on the break, and thought we'd see it through. And unfortunately, a good strike from there, that gets them a point. But I know you're going to ask me about the first goal, so I'll let you ask, and then we'll go into it.
Well, what I was going to say was conceding from 2 set pieces, which I know you won't be happy about. Inconclusive, though, to whether that first goal you conceded was a corner. No,
it's not yet. It's not inconclusive. I've seen it back. My bugbear, and funnily enough, I was talking to the powers that be with the referees about the quadrant now. You know, the quadrant, we all watch it. You can see the ball's outside the quadrant from 80 yards away. But they allow it because it's 1 millimetre with the ball hanging over the line, a bit like the goal line. Yeah. So apparently today the assistant referee can see 78 yards away. It's got to change. That's 2 in a week, two decisions that are not right and gone against in a week. Yes, of course, we've got to then deal with the situation, which we didn't do as well. But it is tough when there's a lot of noise about corners at this club, and then they give corners that are not corners. We had one last week, one this week, and very tough on the team, I think, to take decisions like that. We all talk about the margins in football. We talk about VAR. Why is it not brought in? If it leads to last week, really poor decision, cross goes in. This week, really poor decision, cross goes in. We'll get VAR on it then, because it's 8 seconds to just go, it's in or it's out.
Well, my following question then would be, what did the match officials say to you? I heard your coaching team at half-time. I'm not going to say what they said, but what have they said to you in response?
I'm sure they're very gracious and very calm. At the end of the day, they just said, well, decision made. And I said, well, that's fine, but it's 78 yards away. Surely there's got to be a benefit of the doubt for the defenders. Why would you give it to the attacking team? I don't understand. If there's a benefit of the doubt either way, why would you do that? No, I know the Premier League will want more goals and fans want more goals, but at the end of the day, that decides a lot. We're fighting for our lives to get ourselves back at the table. Things like you don't want them going against you. So, anyways, look, I've spoken to the powers of beef, said my view of it. I'm only just back in it, but I've been watching it when I haven't been in it. See all these VAR things. I don't know why it's not boiling with things like that. Once, if it leads directly to a goal, which it did.
OK, on the goals, because goals have been hard to come by for Forest this season, but the fans, as far as they're concerned, it's the first point since September. It's progress, isn't it? And you can build on that, which is what you were looking for.
Well, there's progress in the performance. I think that's clear. The manner of the performance of Porto, we jumped forward to this one. Bournemouth, I said, was a flat day. You could see the players, the fitness, I'm not quite there, and the sharpness and all them things. But today's back to where we want to be, that's for sure. Some really good performance from individuals as well. team mentality, and it's going to be a squad mentality. Obviously, we've got a lot of games coming up. I've already assured them that, but I thought the team delivered a good performance today. Another day you get it over the line, and that's the bit we've got to change. But it's a work in progress. You know, they've had a lot to contend with, easy for me to say. And then, you know, like 3 managers in a short while, another change. But I think some of the performances today were certainly worthy of wearing this shirt. But we've got to turn them into wins, of course.
And exactly where he tells them to stand is where the ball comes, and he finishes absolutely brilliantly.
OK, so will they be happy, though, with the draw in the end, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you want to win the game, but I think going 2-1 down, and I think the goal that they scored, I think, you know, a point away is not a bad result.
Okay.
Wouldn't have been happy with their performance, though, all in all.
No, I don't, especially second half.
Especially the run that Manchester United have been on, they should have done better.
Once they took the lead, they stopped playing, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought it was a good. I mean, if you take the goals out of the game, I thought it was a good Nottingham Forest performance.
Yeah,
a lot of energy. You know, the things that we spoke about last season in the wide areas, excelling in the wide areas, that's given them their opportunities. High tempo, defensively. I think they're good. The two centre halves I like. I think they enjoy defending. So no, I think I saw enough that Sean would be happy with going, you know, taking this team forward.
You're both praising Man United's transfer policy during the summer, which hasn't always been praised very much over the last few years. So what about the big man Chesko up front? Hasn't quite happened for him yet.
Well, it feels a work in progress, if I'm being honest. I like Cunha and Mbeumo. We showed them before the game what they're bringing to the party, but I just want to see more of this man, you know, because there was other clubs. I mean, Newcastle's another club linked with him heavily in the summer. He said he wanted to go to Man United. But again, you know, in this system as well, and you want your number 9 to be strong. What's his first touch here? Like, it's a heavy first touch. I think it's a really good ball. Softer touch there. He's clean through in a 1v1 situation. And again, you know, Bryan's gone down the outside there. You want your number 9 to be in the middle of the 6-yard box. He's nowhere to be seen in that picture. That one again, you see Cunha's reaction. He's frustrated because if he just lays that off, Cunha has a shot at the edge of the box. And again, you know, look at this ball from Casemiro. I don't think that's a bad ball. But your number 9, your striker, your main man should be attacking. This is probably his best movement. His movement was really good. I think Gary mentioned it coming, he could take that first time, but I think it was a hard chance to take first time. His movement was good there, but you need some more of him, especially away from home in the Premier League. He needs to do better.
No, I think the benefit from him from today, I mean, I was surprised also that he wasn't taken off, particularly with a coach that you know, doesn't worry about when he takes players off. He'll take defensive players off at times. So I was surprised that he played the full game. But I think that will be the benefit from him. I mean, this is a centre forward that they need to do well. So I think the more minutes that he can get, particularly at some difficult times, I think he'll grow. There's no doubt that technically he's a good player. But, you know, Manchester United number 9 is a hard position to fill.
Yeah, I mean, Rasmus Højlund looked like he could do the job when he signed. He got drummed out of there. It hasn't been really, I don't know when the last top United centre forward was. But
maybe he'll benefit from it. You know, I mean, we've had the owner come out saying that, you know, it's a long term. And so maybe he will benefit from that. That he'll get them opportunities.
How important is it just as a striker? We highlighted their wide players, their 2 wide attackers who are obviously playing well, in particular in Mbeumo's case, playing very well. But if your central striker isn't really doing it, does the whole thing potentially...
Well, it won't fall apart because if we talked highly about Cunha and Mbeumo before the game. They're brilliant players, they really are. But just some of them clips we've just shown us, these link-up play, sometimes he might not even be scoring a goal. If he lays that one off to Cunha scores, you think, that's brilliant player from Sesko. He gets the plaudits in that sense. It's just sometimes... I think when you're a striker, tidy up that sort of basic of holding it up, you know, making good runs and just laying things off, keeping it simple, and the goals you would like to think will follow.
There's a bit of controversy, a fair bit over the goal the Forest conceded in the first half. Chris, a similar thing happened against Bournemouth in that they gave away a corner that probably shouldn't have been a corner. Similar scenario this time?
I think we've both looked at this one, and if when you see a better angle, when you're looking at the curve of the ball, then for us, no, it shouldn't have been. Shouldn't have been a corner, so it's incredibly difficult, I've always thought, for that opposite linesman to make that judgment call. So sometimes I think it's the referee that's in that position that has the better view that can also make that call.
What do you think, Shay?
Yes, definitely shouldn't have been a corner. The circumference of the ball wasn't out, but again, Sean Dyche will look back at this with his staff and go, you know, this is Casemiro. It's not like Harry Maguire, 6'4" centre half. You know, this is not diminutive. He times he's run well, but a midfielder who's got a free header 6 yards out. It's poor defending after the decision was against them.
You can see Sean Dyche wasn't happy with that one. We'll see what he has to say after the match.
If you can't really argue with that, given how things were looking a few weeks ago, and we cast our minds back, particularly to that League Cup away trip to Grimsby Town, things are getting better at last under Amorim, aren't they?
Oh, they are 100%. And I look back, and it might have been international break when Sir Jim Radcliffe came out and said we've got a 3-year plan, and I think he sends a message out to everyone. I was sat there thinking, really, is he going to be there in 3 years if this carries on? But before today, they won 3 on the bounce. Big win against Liverpool, which I'm not too sure how many people looked to that game going, Manchester United have got a chance to win. And they showed a response today going behind. I mean, there was nothing in the first half. It was an end-to-end game, but I thought Casemiro in the middle of the park, Bruno playing wide to his wing-backs, Ahmed and Diallo. Sesko in the first half was OK. Second half, he was non-existent, really. But I think it was a good response from Ruben Amorim's Manchester United team, and I think it just shows how far they've come in 4 games, and a response instead of feeling sorry for yourselves. And we all know in this game, winning football matches in 5th, they had a chance to go second today. If they'd have gone to the City Ground and won, they would have been second. I mean, 4 games ago we wouldn't have been saying that. So so Jim Radcliffe sent out a message, and I think it was good for certainly those players to realise that a change is going to be happening for any time soon.
For all 3 points, but settling for a point, first point since September. Overall, can you be happy with that?
I mean, I think the only positive we can look at is the form that Man United have been on, and to get a point is obviously good, but the whole dressing room is frustrated not to get the 3 points. Conceded 2 silly corners. So yeah, it's frustrating. I don't think the first one's even a corner, to be honest. So yeah, it's frustrating, but we're back scoring now, and yeah, we take the point and we move on, and we look at all the positives and take them into the next game.
When you say you're back scoring, let's just talk about the first corner, because it's a big talking point. It has been a big talking point of this game.
Yeah, definitely. We were 1-0 down coming into the half-time, and we felt like we had the dominance of the first half, and it was just about getting that next chance and trying to take it. And Yatesy put in a lovely ball for me, and I just had to try and direct it into the far corner, and luckily enough I did that. And I feel like that gave the boys the edge then to then go and really believe that we can go on and win the game, and then literally within a minute we went and scored another one, but unfortunately we couldn't just see out the game and get the 3 points. But we take the point and we take all the positives and move on to the next one.
But what about the corner that led to the goal that was conceded? I know it was a set piece, and you know what's going to come off Sean Dyche because it was defending the corner, and both goals have come from those set pieces. Inconclusive to whether it was a corner or not for their first goal.
Yeah, I mean, from where I was standing, I was pretty far away. It didn't look like it went out. I haven't been in to be able to check it yet, so all the boys were saying at half-time, the analysis, they're saying that the ball never went out. So I think it's something that needs to be looked at, because it's happened twice to us now in 2 weeks. Last week against Bournemouth, it wasn't their corner. So it's something they need to look at, because, you know, it cost us two extra points today. So we'll see.
Well, let's take a look at what Morgan Gibbs-White was referring to there. Of course, the controversial corner from the opening half that gave Manchester United the 1-0 lead. What did you think?
To be fair, I mean, it makes a point. I mean, obviously United are attacking, they cross the ball with a great header, and because he's headed, he's trying to keep it in. And it looks like he does, especially from that angle. I mean, this one is slightly different, whether it's, you know, in or out. It looks probably fractionally in, but I think the linesman on the other side is making a decision. He's probably about 90 yards away.
Too far.
So it's really difficult to see, and VAR can't intervene. You see what Sean Dyche thinks of it, but why can't they just have it a bit like tennis? You know, where if you got the kind of sensors, but great header from Casemiro. He's so good in the box. Gibbs-White's marking him, and watch what he does. See you later. Just leaves him. A great header.
What a header.
Yeah, I think Forest can feel hard done by conceding that corner. It's justified or not. But they cannot feel hard done by their marking, and that's their own fault really. No one should get a free header inside.
It doesn't even jump.
It doesn't even jump. So very soft goal to give away.
Well, they were disappointed, as we just heard from Morgan Gibbs-White, but whatever Sean Dyche said to them at half-time clearly worked. The blocks in the second half, and Morgan Gibbs-White got on the score sheet pretty much, 3 minutes into the second half?
To be fair, they dominated. You know, Man United just sets off them. How about this for a pass from Elliot Anderson? I love that. Great switch of play. And to be fair, they really struggled to deal with crosses, I think, at this point, Manchester United. such an easy, but Yates just pops it in. And it's a fantastic header from Gibbs White, isn't it?
It's a great header, gets across his man in Ahmad, but if you look from this angle, the challenge that Ahmad puts in, I know he's not a natural defender, but surely you can do a little bit better than that defensively. A bit more. So, talked about United's goal being a free header and a soft goal to give away. I thought this was equally as soft if you look at the defensive side of it.
Well, it certainly set up an exciting second half, didn't it? Because then Forest didn't look back after that. And they scored, seconds later? This was Savannah that put them ahead, 2-1.
Yeah, to be fair, they dominated at this point. Again, Manchester United don't really get any pressure on the ball. Igor does terrific. And to be fair, Savannah does fantastic. He's the right back there. Watch, he just plays this ball in and runs inside, in behind Cunha. And to be fair, Diallo just turns around. And I think once he turns around there, he has no idea where he is.
No, he doesn't know where the opposition player is, but he's looking at the ball. He's looking at the situation there. Look, he sees the ball drop. He needs to react quicker. He hesitates for half a second. And when you hesitate half a second, that's what happens.
That angle there, you see, it just stops for like half a second. But credit the defender, he just kept running. And sometimes if you run in a straight line, it can come to you. But to be fair, what a strike this is from Ahmad.
How about that, Ida? What did you make of the strike from Ahmad?
Lovely strike, and he half and more made up for, let's say, his weak defending in Forest's first goal. That strike is just as sweet as you like, on the volley. De Ligt, puts himself in front of the goalkeeper. I don't think there's anything in it. I think VAR checked it to see if there was a
possible handball there.
Probably that's the incident that VAR were checking. My initial thought was if De Ligt was in the eyesight of the goalkeeper.
They said it wasn't deliberate.
Exactly. So I think a wonderful equaliser. Would have been a shame if that wouldn't have stood.
I wonder if we could kind of look at that from the top again, because there's a point where Bruno